I made a massive layout mistake. My display wall looks completely terrible, and right now, it's almost entirely blank. I wanted to mount 3 years of my childhood Hot Wheels from 2006, 7, and 8, but my plan to overlap these premium 2-packs at the top completely failed. So today, we're tearing them down, redesigning the wall layout, and fighting this blank wall using nothing but plastic sleeves and simple push pins. Let's go. If you saw my last video, then you know we have 5,000 Hot Wheels to organize. And to fit them on the wall, we're using these custom 8-car plastic sleeves that hang from simple tacks. But before we hang a single mainline, we have to sort them. And before we do that, we gotta look through 5,000 Hot Wheels to find them all. Yeah, let's just say this is a project. We started out with the year 2006, and we're sorting them strictly by color. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. But instead of indigo and violet, we're just gonna say purple. As I look through all these Hot Wheels, I can't help but think to myself, this era was completely slept on. I mean, look at these 2006 Hot Wheels. Look at these racing graphics. First edition packaging is awesome. It's a crime to keep these hidden in a box. But unfortunately, these black and silver Ferraris are gonna have to stay hidden for just a little bit longer, since this entire wall is gonna be color coordinated. So now the race is on. I've kind of done the math. To build this multi-gradient color wall, we need exactly 28 8-car sleeves. That means sifting through hundreds and hundreds of carded cars, inspecting paint colors, and making sure the cardboard isn't bent or creased. If one wrong shade or color gets into the mix, the visual line on this wall is ruined. I almost felt bad rejecting some of these Hot Wheels just because they weren't colorful. But if you guys have any ideas for what I should do with the black, white, and silver ones, let me know in the comments. I'm all ears. But I knew this was going to happen when I made this decision. And honestly, there's no way I'm leaving these in a box. Getting these Hot Wheels sleeves lined up on the wall is a spacing nightmare. If any of these sleeves overlap by even a millimeter, they're going to mess the entire wall up. And I am not having that. Not after all this organization. But on the flip side of that, if they're too far apart, we waste precious wall space on an already compact wall. Color, slide, click. Color, slide, click. Oh yeah, the rhythm's absolutely locked in now. And as you can see, the color wave is finally starting to take shape. But I'm not gonna lie, this is taking way longer than I thought it would. But I think it'll be worth it once we get everything on the wall. So as you can see, I laid everything out Roy G. Biv style. And in my mind, it was gonna look awesome, especially with those 2-packs laid on top. I didn't think it would look as bad as it did, but you'll see it in a second. And after all the time I spent organizing these, anything less than perfect is not acceptable. But at this point, I just carried on the plan. I started hanging up reds, then some oranges, and then next some yellows. And then some greens. Going through and picking which cars to actually have on the wall was tough, and here I tried to overstuff one of the sleeves. That didn't really work out. Then next I tacked up the blues. Right here I noticed the spacing was off. So in order to prevent it from compounding, I had to move these 3 back over. I want this wall to be as dense with Hot Wheels as humanly possible, so there's no room for even a little bit of space. And here it is, the color-coordinated rainbow gradient wall. After I got these initial rows of cars on the wall, I was super stoked. I could finally see the vision come to life. And this is where the absolute disaster struck. I started hanging up these premium car culture 2-packs up on top, kind of overhanging the mainline sleeves. And at first glance, it didn't look too terrible. And then I started to really look at it from the side, and you can't really see it from this angle, but they were kind of jetting out. They didn't look flat. I want this wall to look like an art piece, and I didn't like it, so I took it down. Yep, just like that, every single car had to come back off the wall, piece by piece, but it's not a big deal, because now I know exactly what I'm going to do. And honestly, I can't say it was a total failure, although the holes in my drywall might disagree. But I think as a proof of concept, it looked pretty cool in those initial flashes of it. So now I'm going to take these off, start with a brand new blank wall, and put those premium 2-packs underneath the team transporters right above. I think that'll give the wall a much better flow as we go from the premiums and the team transports to the 2-packs and then to the single main lines. And believe it or not, hanging these cars on the wall is actually the fastest part of this process. And here I'm trying to just keep some themes: Porsches with Porsches, JDM with JDM, Skylines near Skylines. And I already like the look of this way better than when they were overhanging on the main lines. But now it's time to get these sleeves back on the wall. And does anyone out there know how to repair push pin holes in drywall? Because I've practically turned this wall into Swiss cheese. And I'd really like to get my deposit back on this place. But yep, here we go. Back to the Roy B. Jiv. Except for this is more like Roy B. Because we're turning indigo and violet into the same color, purple. I feel like that made sense just to simplify it. And as you can see, this already looks way better than it did before. Check this out. The red flows to the orange, to the yellow, to the green, to the blue, to the purple. I think it looks awesome. I think what we'll do with this wall is we'll do 2 rows of these color gradient main lines. And then of course we'll add more rows of the different colors in between so we stretch all the way and fill up that blank spot on the wall. Luckily I have 5,000 cars to go through, so that shouldn't be a problem. Another big concern of mine is the lighting in here. As you can see, there's a lot of glare going on, and I really don't like the glare on the blister packs. So I'm thinking about getting some studio lighting, maybe some lighting rails on the ceiling to shine down and kind of keep the glare off the cars and more focus on the diecast itself and the card art. But I think it looks great. If you guys haven't seen my other 2 videos on making this wall, check them out, because this has been an absolute project, but I think it's all going to pay off. Once all that white space is filled in, this is going to be the perfect collector's wall. And one more thing I'm noticing, there's not a lot of green and there's not a lot of purple, so I'm definitely thinking that might be a problem coming up here in the future, but I guess we'll see. We got to go through 5,000 and see what we got in there. I also really like how those Deutschland designs kind of flow with colors too. And I think just in general, the card art on the premiums really looks cool with this rainbow gradient. It like really makes your eye start to notice all the color once you see that the color spectrum on the main lines. I am so excited to get the rest of this wall done. If you guys like this video, click like and click subscribe so you don't miss an episode of this. And we're honestly just getting started. I know we started on this wall, but I think I'm going to make this an entire Hot Wheels room. And I definitely think we can do it. Oh yeah, and if you have any suggestions on how to do this better, please let me know in the comments. I know a few of you reached out and said, hey, do this, don't do this, and I really appreciate that. But I think for today, I'm just going to appreciate the wall, and then tomorrow, start organizing the next batch of colors. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode as we tackle the other half of this wall.